That's my understanding. So in which case, show this story to them. And the first thing, it's a 3-line requirement document. They understand it. And then they talk about, that's the 3 C's we were talking about, right? The card, the conversation, and the confirmation of a user story. So you encourage the conversation. They talk about, and then they discuss. It's just a discussion around 4-5 chairs pulled together. They say, hey, I think we've got the card there. We've got the functionality. But hold on, I think now the requirement says not just one item. So I should be able to add one more item to the card. So if that is the case, we need to store that object in some place. Let's say a temporary place of the items. So let's say temporary cart or something where you add items, 1 item, 2 item, 3 items, like a recursive iterative one. Okay, I think that works. So in which case, there should be a way to stop that. We can't just add infinite number of items. You should be having finite, some limit there. Should we restrict the order of the cart to 5, 10, 15? So here, what is happening here? I'm actually discussing, I'm thinking aloud. So that think aloud of the developers and the backend team. And now the backend team comes, the database guy comes in, hey, hold on, I think we've got a problem with this because this item object cannot have more than, let's say, I'm just throwing something. It's like a Twitter having a character limit of 144, whatever, because of the fact that it's a technical limit. It's not because of business limit. It started there and then that continued, right? So there might be some constraint that the technology team, the backend team, the database team, or the front-end team says, oh, you know what, I think we should have another screen there to say, are you sure you're done with the adding of items? So the front-end UI guy, the UI developer might come and say, well, can we do it this way? So what we're doing here is a kind of conversation. You're encouraging the conversations, and then you have got the confirmation finally, and they're going to go ahead with the development. So the prioritization is actually, again, done by the team of the user stories, right? So you've got the team working on the estimation, as we discussed yesterday and day before. It's the team which does the estimation, team does the work, team does the delivery, team does the entire ownership of this product. It's not somebody else, not the customer, not the senior management, not somebody else outside. So the team collectively takes ownership and owns the delivery of this work. And that's why it actually could be done really relatively quicker than if it's otherwise. So the product increment is what we call. It's not a product, the final product. I'm not talking this whole e-commerce website would be ready by September, or I mean by November or December. What we're talking about is the e-commerce product, the whole of this website. We're going to deliver in phases. And the first one would be ready, the shopping cart, or the catalog would be ready by November. And then you should be able to add this whole thing by December. By February, you should be able to place the order. And then by April, you're able to purchase that using online, using the gateways, payment gateways like WorldPay. You can use a credit card. Sorry, you can just use credit card by April, but we're working on to add more modes of payment. And then by July, let's say, we can have bank transfers. We can have other check. You can send a check and then you can place an order. See, you're trying to actually incrementally add value. It's not just at one big bang. So that's the beauty of, again, Agile. So we are trying to talk about a 2 to 3 week roughly average. Again, that depends. It could be 1 week to 4 weeks is what Scrum says. So depending on the time box, the size of the time box, we are actually delivering this in phases. And that's what it's called, iteration or a sprint in Scrum methodology. We're going to discuss these in detail later.